Hello everyone and welcome to part 4 of my Malta Speedbuild series. In this episode I am going to present you something very special and exciting, if I might say so myself. Well, I am quite excited about it because at this time I built the bad boy, bad person, evil villain's mansion and property with lots of stables and security stuff and dinosaurs and luxurious free time areas. And the reason I like this so much is because, in contrast to the docks and the airport and the fishing village, is that those are builds who are just make-believe because we lack the proper decoration pieces. We don't have boats. We don't have the possibility to have people arriving by boats. We don't have planes. We don't have cars, which is also something that I really miss. I would love to put jeeps everywhere so I can fill up my parking lots. So those builds are kind of challenging to make them look realistic, but you're never gonna get a result that, goes all the way because the game just doesn't give us the possibility to. But this is completely different. So we have these mansion-y buildings from the JP era, mainly the control center, I believe, and the guest center. Is that what it's called? Anyhow, I use those as the mansion part, which I had, of course, to put on a hill so that the bad person, our main villain, has the possibility to be overlooking his or her property. And of course, not everyone gets access to this property. You have to be invited or a staff member. So I'm going to build this security entrance and with barbed wire fencing, which I quite like. There's going to be a tour, which is the only way to enter this property, and a drop-off point for guests that are invited, which is going to be flanked by a beautiful yet menacing welcome party, aka Herrerasaurus, aka ATROCIRAPTORs. Because, as a villain, you want to make a statement when inviting guests that you are powerful and that you have the upper hand, and that you are ready to kill them if they misbehave. So now I'm just going to tell you a few things about this build and why I think you should try to do something like this yourself. And then, because this video is quite long, I did a lot of editing. So every time you see one of those smooth video transitions, I cut stuff from in between because it was just too much. It's still very long. But even though this is just a small build compared to the whole map, it's quite elaborate and huge. So the reason why I think you should do this, at least if you find yourself hitting a brick wall while building parks, because you find yourself losing interest or motivation because it's always the same thing. It's always a park. It's always an exhibit with viewing platforms or tours going through. And I get ya. I get there too. And I hit a break wall with this Malta series because it was all make-believe and nothing that felt really real. This one is different because, I don't even know if I can explain this. It feels different. We have all the buildings we need for this. The only make-believe thing is the stable and barn buildings because I used staff buildings from the JP era for barns and, the guest center for the mansion. But still, people go in there, It's not just something where nobody's going. It looks lived in. And the tour going through this property, it all sort of makes much more sense. And I love it. I loved thinking about who this person is that is living here, why there would be a building there, what purpose it had. And it it really felt different while building, and it was really fun. And I really recommend, if you hit a brick wall, if you cannot find the motivation to go any further with your build, just stop it and do something different. Do something like this. So I'm going to tell you about the villain that lives here. And this is also what made this very fun, because when I started building this, I had just finished rewatching Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And so naturally, I had this image of someone from the cartel in my head, like the Salamanca family who owned this place. So I started with these a little bit tacky decorations, the torches and the skeleton, because I thought someone like Tuco Salamanca would probably put a heck of a lot of these skeletons and torches everywhere, because it's just, as far as decoration pieces go, in a private domicile, it's just a little bit over the top and not the greatest taste, sort of what I think. But the further I got with the build, and I didn't change what I did in the beginning, because this is the person it is now. But the further I got in the building process, I figured, no, this isn't a cartel dude. At least it's not Tuco, it's no one from the Salamanca family, because, Tuco Salamanca wouldn't go as far as building his own society somewhere hidden. This actually feels like a James Bond villain would do something like this. And it makes much more sense to have a James Bond villain living in this huge property and having dinosaurs as pets, because, well, every good James Bondy villain needs a special gimmick. Thugs with iron jaws or crazy pets, venomous octopussies, or sharks with laser heads and stuff like that. And I feel someone having dinosaurs as pets isn't far-fetched in the James Bond universe. This person could easily exist in a James Bond universe. So I decided, okay, let's go for it. And the James Bond villains always are classy. They always are living the life, living the dream, having luxurious mansions and private beaches, and they're on horse race tracks and everything. So all of a sudden, this villain didn't only have to be badass, but classy, organized, dangerous. Not dangerous in the way that Tuco Salamanca is dangerous, but this subdued kind of dangerousness. His property had to include all sorts of subtle threats that are surrounded by beauty and luxury, so that he can groom you into trusting him or her. And this is why I built a huge lake that some people would regard as just a big waste of space, but I don't, because this is pure luxury. He has his own beach with dreamy coves and hidden places between rocks and a private cocktail bar on the beach. And he lets his guests drive around it because he wants them to be impressed. And then I built a few exhibits also to greet the guests. Some are meant to just impress. Others are there to build a little bit of tension and to impress his guests in a little bit of a threatening way. He has this whole security section with heavily armed people right in front of his property, and you have to pass through it and to get a security checkup before you're allowed to enter. I wanted people to see the security facility, but not really have insight, but just get a glimpse at it. So the threat is happening in their head and not so much in plain sight. Because, it's like it's like Jaws. If you see the monster, it's much less threatening than if you don't see it. Let imagination run wild. The build also includes a huge stable section where he keeps all his dinosaurs and lots of people working there, dinosaur trainers and stables and barns and small paddocks where he keeps his dinosaurs, where they can live a okay life, I guess. I added a few bits of information in this video, so I don't have to talk all the way through it because I feel like I don't have to say this that much about it. But still, I wanted to give you as much information as possible. Why I built what I built, why I used the buildings I used, and what they are all meant to be. I hope this gives you inspiration. I really do hope that you are going to try something like this because I felt it was really rewarding. I had fun during the whole build. I can even imagine doing something like this in big scale on a big map and just pretending that the whole map is the property of this person. You could really elaborate on the security section and build something really impressive. Different sections, maybe add aviaries and lagoons also, because I think there are a lot of story elements you could think of that justify putting aviaries and lagoons in the property of this big villain. Because, I mean, hello, he has dinosaurs, he's super rich, and he likes to brag, so why not add a aviary to lead his guests to, and also just imagine what he would do with his business partners that crossed him. How would he get rid of them? I believe that someone like this is really classy, but also very brutal, and that he likes to torture his enemies. How would he do that? I haven't incorporated this at all, but there could be some things you could build easily with the stuff we have in this game. And this could really be something fun to build. Oh my God, I sound like a serial killer or a psychopath. Wow. Okay. I'm just saying, if you get tired of building parks, try something like this. It works very, very well. Seriously, trust me. I hope you liked this video. I really, really tried to make it as short as possible. I tried to build something really cool, and I think I did. So just enjoy and try to see it as an inspirational input. At least I hope it is going to provide some inspiration, because this is the reason I do this. And I hope to see you again next time. I thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing. Please leave a like if you liked this video, or leave a comment. What do you think is missing from this? What is the thing you really liked? Are you going to try to build something like this? Please tell me in the comments. I promise I read all of them, because there are not many usually under my videos. And most of the times I'm also going to take the time to write a reply. So there you go. This is my service for you. Oh man, okay. Before this gets any more obnoxious, I'm going to stop talking. Maybe I'm going to chip in at the end again just to conclude this, or I guess not. Anyhow, until next time, thanks for watching again, and keep building. Bye! And here she is again. I'm sorry, I said I wasn't going to come back, but I had to because this is one of the reasons I like this build so much, because to my experience, every stables do have some cute little thing that makes them special, like goats escaping. Like near my place, there is a small farm and they have goats, and one of the goats just somehow always manages to escape its paddock, and no one can't be bothered because everyone's used to the goat running around freely on the streets and everything, and everyone watches out for the goats. It never has been injured. I have been to a farm where there was a pony that was so small that it couldn't be bothered by fences and also wandering around freely. And here we have the Pyroraptors, who somehow feel free to switch from one paddock to the other, much to the distress of the Ouranosaurus living next door, because they don't like the Pyroraptors as their neighbors. But this is just this little something that makes this place feel like a real place. And I love this, and I wanted to tell you this, and I wanted to show you this. And now I'm over and out. Thank you for watching. If you sticked until the end, then you are my personal hero. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying tuned, and hope to see you next time. Bye.
you